Okay. Here we go. All right, so I'll just share the screen and then we'll have a little presentation here and then we'll get into this. All right. Okay. Okay, it's going underway. So welcome to getting into your, should actually be Escaping from the Matrix is the correct title. Escaping from the Matrix, it's a new version of the webinar I'm doing. And this is a little spiel for the guys who are watching this cold or watching this later in the replay. So just to say this and we'll get onto the more relaxed part of this. So, are you stuck in your corporate 3D job, emotionally disconnected from it? Put your hands up if you're feeling that. People feel, yeah. Okay. Perhaps sitting on a mountain of salt after you climb the corporate ladder. Does that sound familiar? Desperately looking for a way out. Thinking that there's something special you need to be doing out in the world that'll actually make a difference rather than just making money for someone else. But you can't rely on the universe to give you the next steps to actually achieve this, to transition out of this place you've been in. The Matrix programmed you to move into. So this free live group Divine Healing webinar is designed to gracefully accelerate the healing of the fear of stepping into the life you truly desire, especially in this time of the Great Awakening that we're going through. So you can quicken the process of safely letting go, so you can escape from the corporate matrix and open to a new structure of life and the flow of abundance in order to deliver that very special thing, your gift of service to the world. So I was in this place back in 1997. I was sitting in a glass box in the city in London on a beautiful sunny summer's day, pure blue sky. And this cloud moved past, the only cloud in the sky, which looked like about 200-foot long angel. And it was moved by, and this thing was smiling at me through my mirror glass window. And I had my suit on, and I was in a global satellite communications company, helping shareholders make lots of money. And then I realized at that point, because of this transmission I got from that experience, that I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore. And it was the beginning of a process of disengagement over a period of about 6 months. And I left that very well-paid, very comfortable job. Well, actually, it was starting to get uncomfortable because it just wasn't gelling with me. It wasn't fitting. I wasn't aligned with it anymore, I realized. I just knew deep in my bones, my soul, that I had to get out. I didn't know how. And I'd always worked for someone else, my entire working life. And I'd been exploring spirituality for about the past 10 years before that time, sort of as part-time, like a hobby, and going to workshops and trainings and things like that. And I was delivering alternative therapy sessions, healing sessions, and soul contract readings in the weekends. It was just a hobby at that stage. And about a month or two later, I was in Spain at a retreat called Corte Romero, and I woke up in the morning, and there was a beautiful bright orange red sunrise over the Sierra Nevadas, and there was a voice in my head: "You have to leave now. It's time to leave." The angel was a hint, but this was like, "You have to leave," and I knew that was it. There was no going back. Is that I had to find a way out. And that was the beginning of my escape from the corporate matrix, which I'd got very comfortable in up until that point. So, and what we're going to do in this webinar is help you align, get a bit clearer on what is the gift you're here to, what is the gift you're here to really deliver in the world. Okay. So we're sort of brought up, we're programmed to do certain things, we're reconditioned by what we call consensus reality programming in the matrix, to do certain things and take a certain role. No one tells you why you get told this stuff, but just the way this whole matrix works on Earth. And it's about becoming conscious of that and breaking free of all that programming and aligning with our soul to deliver our gift of service, that very special thing that we as light workers search for our entire lives. I felt the search for this when I was very young, from ever since I was a young teenager. I knew there was something special to do, but no one would tell me what it was. I looked at school and university and then work, and people were saying all these things which didn't feel right. And so I sort of went through the motions of all this training and going to work and in New Zealand, and I still felt dissatisfied. I thought, no, someone's not telling me the truth at all. They just like robots going through this program. Until I got to that point, after about how many years of working? 15 years of working, like I'm done. So, and I transitioned to what I'm doing now, running an alternative therapy practitioner training business and doing one-on-one sessions. So not an easy journey to transition, but a very satisfying journey. So what I want to hear from you guys is, what brought you here? And what are you looking for out of this webinar? And then we're going to address that. Okay. So give you a bit of structure on how to make your escape and help you align to what is your true gift of service. Sound interesting enough? So if you guys want to share with us in the group all of that, then that sort of sets collective intention. And I can, it'll focus how we're going to run this. This is very fluid, the way we do this. So who would like to share first? Just wave at me and let me know. Okay, who wants to go first? Because the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. So it's switch your mic on. Wave at me and switch your mic on. Okay, so this is for you guys. I know some of you are desperate to get out of what you're doing. So Yannicka.
What I would like to get from today. So I feel like I was potentially on a kind of divine pathway, trusting the universe, doing what I think I was supposed to do. I think things have completely changed. So after spending 15 years in the NHS as a mental health nurse, trying to start my own dog walking business, which has kind of come to an end, I feel like I'm on a different trajectory and I'm not sure. And hoping this will manifest really well. But I would like to think that I have an idea what I think I'd like to do. And I'd like to do more healing courses and train to be better as a healer. So I'd like more, I'd like guidance on where I'm supposed to go. And I'm hoping that maybe today this would help align me in the right direction, or help bring my inner wisdom out to give me more guidance.
Okay, that's pretty clear.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Who else would like to share? Don't be shy. Okay, Tina. Isa. Sorry, I can see your name now.
That's okay. Yeah, that's all right.
It's more on my screen. Yeah, go on. What brought you here?
Am I here? Oh, right. Sorry. So there's two things that brought me here today. Number one is I have worked out that I definitely am better at working for myself.
Right.
I'm a very, very free-spirited person that really doesn't like to conform. And when I was younger, I found that hard, to do the jobs that I did while I was studying. Because I always felt that I could do the job better than the person that was telling me what to do. And I know that sounds big-headed, but I'm a very, very organized person. So I kind of just see what needs to be done rather than telling and then going through like a program. I just see it, do it, done. And it got me into trouble a few times. Just not major trouble, but just confliction. And then when I came out of that and I worked for myself, I was just so much happier. But when we went into the pandemic, I lost a lot of my business. So for the sake of finances, if I'm honest, it's funny Yannicka saying what she said because I'm actually now in the NHS, but I've decided, yeah, doing mental health, funny enough, but I've decided to keep it part-time so that I've still got flexibility because I just can't conform to being told when I can take holiday, when I can do this, and I've got 2 kids as well and 2 dogs, so I like to have that flexibility. But I get that it's better for me to have that. I need that because I'm very grumpy if I don't have it. But the problem that I'm having is I don't know if I'm supposed to communicate, entertain, write. I'm struggling to work out what my talent is and what I'm supposed to share with people. And I know that I'm supposed to share because it's written very clearly in my soul contract, in my birth chart, that communication is absolutely key. But I don't know how. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I'm so confused, honestly. I don't know if I've got to write something, write a book, write a poem, sing a song, dance. Do you know what I mean? Like teach. I've all these things I can do, but I don't know where to go. So I'm hoping today will bring some enlightenment as to what might be best. It might not, but I can give it a go.
Okay, we'll see what we can do. Okay, Laura.
I decided to go next because hearing you, Tisa, is just, I'm in the same place. Absolutely. So I worked for myself for most of my life. And then I was doing something that really, I think, was quite aligned. So I started 2 businesses in publishing, and my formation is as a visual designer, and I worked in strategy and business, and I've been self-employed for 20 years, and then I decided. But my spirit was guiding me towards teaching, so I started an academic career. Now I'm fully employed within this structure that I feel very confining. And again, it's very clear all over my chart as well. The communication is the thing. There's a spiritual element there. I think, I started to develop certain psychic talent with channeling. A bit scared about these steps, and again, I'm not entirely clear how I should be doing this. Yeah, I've been exploring writing, and I've got some published work, but it's so bloody hard work to write, and I'm also scared of public speaking, so I'm not sure how this communication is playing out. By the way, I have a degree in communication, but yeah. So clarifying, and I had a session, a soul contract reading this week with Nicolas, and yeah, one of my problems is that there are too many options and I have to choose.
Great, thanks.
So that's, yeah.
Thanks for tearing up. We'll see what we can do with that. Okay, Heather, you got your hand up. You just switch on your mic, or come on, or say yes to being a panelist, or whatever is comfortable for you. We can have a chat. So what's brought you here? There you go.
Sorry, disconnected me for a second. Yeah, I think I'm kind of just like everyone else, but also a little bit different. So I think that I'm just trying to figure it out, right? Like I'm in the corporate world and I've been for quite a while. And for some reason, like I just don't have the drive anymore. I can barely get myself to do the job task that I'm required to do. And I used to really enjoy it. And now I just don't, and I struggle just making myself do the work even. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out, is it me? Is it just because I'm in a difficult period right now? Or is it in fact that like maybe this job maybe corporate life isn't the best for me? Kind of like how the others were saying, I've always had difficulty kind of fitting into the box.
Yeah.
And so now I'm kind of at a place where it's like I'm completely just everything that I thought I knew isn't. And so I'm like, well, what does that mean for me? And who am I? And then what am I going to do then if what I originally thought was my life plan isn't anymore? So just a lot of confusion, and it's come with a lot of anxiety and health issues. And so I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, maybe I should just press the pause button and try to figure some stuff out.
Good. How old are you now, Heather, if I can ask?
Yeah, sure. I just turned 41 in January.
Oh, you're right on time to make this change. The change
Oh, really
happened
good.
between 35 and 42, the 6 cycle of 7 years. This is when mine happened at 37. So you're
That's
right on
awesome.
time for a change.
It makes me feel better because I'm like, oh my God, I am way too old to be having this like quarter life crisis.
This is
Like, I
normal.
should...
This is
Okay.
this is an awakening for you guys. If you're around that sort of age range, or earlier or later, where it's time to build upon the foundation of what you've been learning. So just know that everything you've learned up to this point and what you've been doing for work is not, you haven't made a mistake, okay? This is your core training, okay? But you're going to build upon that, the real purpose of this life. And it's a one-way trip, as you've all felt. You know, there's no way you can go back to doing it. And if you can't do the job the way you used to, it's telling you, it's basically expiring on you energetically. So it's time to search for the next thing. This is the trigger that the soul uses for all of us. It's a part of the spiritual awakening, midlife crisis, or dark night of the soul. It's completely normal for light workers. So nothing's gone wrong. So it's okay to feel completely lost and confused, because the soul's doing this. So you have a look around and think, well, what's really important here? Because none of this satisfies me. And no matter what your ego may tell you, it's never going to again. Okay. And it's okay. That's okay. All right. Because the soul uses discomfort to trigger you to look for the next step in life. I was terrified, thinking I have to go and do something else. Well, how's that going to work? But I figured it out. I'm still here. So 25 years on. So it's a challenging journey, but hopefully this will help you a bit in what we're going to talk about now. Does anyone else want to share? Juliet, do you want to share what brought you here?
Hi there. Sorry, I'm still munching on my salad.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm here to reconnect with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I haven't really ever worked in the corporate world, I don't think. Yeah, I've been mostly freelance, occasionally odd jobs.
Yeah.
And where I'm at is I have been working for a company freelance quite intensely.
Yeah.
And that was just over half of kind of my time was set for them. And I now am in a big transition, but I'm not exactly sure where that's going to take me.
Yeah.
But part of it is to focus more on my soul contract reading and coaching. And I'm also running women's circles, and they're going really successfully. And I'd like to grow that alongside.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's lots of little projects as well that I want to start giving more love and attention to.
Okay. Sounds like you didn't get trapped by the corporate matrix in the first place. Well done. So okay.
Thank my mum for that.
Thank you, Mum, for that. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, and it's lovely to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you. So anyone else want to share? Gigi, do you want to say anything before we get into the rest of this?
Well, hello there.
Yeah, we'll turn your camera on so we can see you, so we can connect with you. So it's entirely up to you. So
okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, there I am.
there you go. Yeah, that wasn't too hard, was it? Thank you.
No. I'm on my phone. I'm not used to working this on my phone, but in any event, just wanted to pop on and say hello, and also that I'm a bit a bit different, but the same in terms of what people have been describing. I myself tried not to get involved in corporate situations. It just never felt right for me. I don't like politics. So I'm more of a freelance person. And, you know, from very young, I was very intuitive and I started to get quite a few downloads. Fast forward to today, I'm about to turn 65, and I find myself in a position where monetarily, things are not coming together for me. So I keep asking, what is it? What's the missing piece in terms of feeling that I'm supported, I'm resourced, so that I can actually fine tune what it is I need to do. I mean, what is my calling at this point? So I'm at a crossroads.
Thank you. Anybody else want to share? Most people have, actually. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's talk about this a bit more. Let me get back to my presentation. Okay, just got to bring that up. I have to find a diagram here. Okay, so found the right diagram. I'm going to give you a structure on how to, the structure and process for escaping. Here it is. So, my pen. What happens in life is that initially, as we awaken in the matrix, a little ego here in this blue dot believes it's in charge. It believes it knows everything. It believes it's more powerful than God. And it got very programmed by the matrix, especially, you know, the typical thing is that, you know, go to school, do well, you go and get a degree, get a good degree, get a lot of debt or some sort of higher training, get a good job, get locked into that job, a career path. And no one tells you why that happens. It's just supposed to be the right thing to do. No one actually understands why we do all this. No one understands why corporates who have a mandate to maximize return on shareholder investment and end up destroying the world, why they even do that. No one asks, why are you doing that? It's just a sort of a corporate religious given in the matrix. Okay. So you end up on this path of suffering. That's what you guys have been describing. This is a little blue dot, this dotted line, where you're following the path of the ego and of the matrix. It's told you all these rules you've got to follow, and everyone blindly follows them. And everyone basically acts as enforcers. How many of you seen the movie The Matrix? Okay, everyone acts as agents at times to enforce the rules of the matrix. You don't know why you do it, you just do. To get everyone to conform. So everyone ends up on the path of suffering. Because this is the path where you are not following the spiritual map of your life. You're following the path of the ego. So, in order to escape from the matrix, unconscious programming of the matrix, we need to expand our consciousness. This is the most important diagram I'm going to show you today. We need to expand our consciousness and connect back to who we truly are. So you might be asking, well, who are we really? I'll show you. I'll find a diagram here. So, you are here in the third dimension, in this densified dimension where we have these physical bodies and we are programmed to believe this is all there is. The scientific world. I'm a chemical engineer by training, so trained as basically a scientist, applied scientist. If you can't measure it or see it, it's not real. It's part of the matrix programming. And God is some far distant religious or spiritual concept which you can't access. You're stuck here, you die, turn to dust, that's it. That's the way the matrix works. But in reality, it's completely different. You come from source. All that is, great spirit, the one divine intelligence that created this universe. And you're an integral part of that. And that's on the 12th dimension. A long way in frequency from this densified third dimension. So what happened was that source, all that is, wanted to know itself. So it created an out-breath of itself. And densified itself all the way through the dimensions from 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, all the way down to the third dimension. The fifth dimension is where we feel part of unity, feel part of everything. And the fourth dimension is the astral plane. It's the place where, you see in the movies, tunnels of light, and the soul goes up it when the physical body dies. That's the astral plane. And there's a big band at the lower end of the astral plane, with the 10 octaves in the astral plane, each dimension, where there's energy interference, which prevents us from connecting back to the higher dimensional parts of ourselves. So we have this illusion that we're separate from source, separate from God in the spiritual sense. And so because we are disconnected from this initially, and we feel abandoned from this, abandoned by God, or don't trust in God, or unworthy to be loved by God, we feel trapped here on this third rock from the sun. And so we play out whatever programs are in our soul contract. For those not familiar with that, that's where we match our birth certificate name in whatever language it's in with the sounds of ancient Hebrew, and we extract those Hebrew numbers and we decode them. We can find out, well, what is our true purpose here? So in order to escape from the matrix, it's about opening up a connection back to source. So you can align with your true self, because part of you is stretched all the way back to source, just that you don't have access to this higher part. The part of you in this body is only this very small part of you, but because most of your consciousness is focused on it, this is all we initially believe that there is. So it's about breaking a hole through this interference energy, this interference band, and connecting to the energy and alignment of higher self here. And that is your guidance system for escaping from the matrix. Because you each have a plan at a higher level. It's a plan that you designed up here that you need to tap into in order to align with your true purpose and break out of the matrix. Okay, so that's sort of overall picture of what's going on there. And that requires an opening in consciousness as you connect to the higher parts of yourself, and a shift from following the path of unconsciousness, the path of the ego, following the rules of the matrix, following the spiritual signature. And as you expand in consciousness, you get access to the impulses and direction from the soul. Because in each moment, there's one right action for you to take, which is a thick line here. And the more you can align, so this is you converging on the spiritual signature, the more you can align with the true path of the soul, which it will communicate to you through your experience of the reality, but especially it'll communicate to you in, if you try on the choices in front of you in each moment, and the one that opens your heart the most, that is, and you take that choice, you'll gradually align the spiritual signature, and your life will change. You'll move from following the path of the ego to following the spiritual signature. And as you expand consciousness, then you will align with the true purpose. And that's actually how broad idea for a principle of escaping from the matrix, because there is a plan for each of you, if you follow what opens your heart the most, to move from where you are now into your following, aligning to, or discovering and aligning to and manifesting your soul destiny, your soul purpose, as we call it in soul contract. That's the broad principle of how you do it. And it's a gradual process of transition. And this is why we have This is why we have this awakening between 35 and 42, the sixth cycle of life, or earlier, or a bit later, and you're moving over here. And that's the path of getting in, this is getting into the flow of your life and escaping from the prison of being in the matrix down here. Gallup did a poll of people and discovered that about 90% of people in corporate work were emotionally disconnected from it. And so allowing for the margin of error, that's pretty much everybody. That's a pretty serious indictment of our culture. 90% of people are not interested in what they're doing. Okay? They're just doing it to pay the bills, the mortgage, which obviously is essential, feed the kids. All right. So something's badly wrong. But this is a dissonant reality. This frequency in this dimension is very dissonant. It's actually not meant to work. Okay. We're actually here to move to following the spiritual signature, raising our consciousness to transform this place into a much better place, which is what's going on in the world now in the past 3 years. All the darkness is coming out so we can transform it into a new earth. And I feel that all of you are part of that. Okay. All right. Joe, you're here. You can join us if you want. So just click on Joe and Michelle, if you want to join us, just click on the being promoted to panelists, and you can switch your video on if you want to engage with us here. You can engage with as much or little as you like. So nice to see you, Joe. So I like the tiger. So this is an inside job. The key to escaping is to dissolve the ego construct within you of who you think you are, who you perceive you are. Okay. Your job is to do this in order to escape, in order to align. This is your higher self up here, and this is the lower self. This is us in our physical body and all our energy bodies. And this is all our emotional separation. And this is called the antakarana. This is the connection between the higher self and the lower self. And this is we here in these bodies are temporary. The key to aligning to the spiritual signature is to dissolve all of the ego programming in here. That's the absolute key for that to actually work. And as we do that, what happens is that our opening to higher consciousness here, our opening to the higher self expands, and lots of more love comes in from the higher self, unconditional love, to gradually start to dissolve our ego. And as we dissolve it, when you get access to the higher consciousness, we get more guidance from spirit. We start to surrender the power of our left brains. I mean, science was invented about 300 or 400 years ago to shut us down spiritually. That's the whole purpose of science. Most of it is not true. It's being badly distorted, so we stay asleep. Because we used to be much more connected before that to nature and the flow, the real flow of life. And people make science out as a god, but actually it's actually holding us back in a lot of ways. And as we expand our consciousness, open to the higher self, the visionary template, the real purpose of why we're here starts to come into us, starts to embody, because the frequency of our body has risen enough so we can do that. So it's not little you and your body here and your earth, you're trying to figure it all out with your left brain. That is never going to work. Okay? It's never going to work. It's about actually letting go what the left brain wants to do, what it thinks it should do, and opening to higher consciousness and surrendering to the flow of higher consciousness to come through you. Because what happens is that eventually you dissolve enough of the ego, you get this. Your ego is dissolved and you're really completely open to higher consciousness. This enormous amount of unconditional love comes through, but also the vision of your real mission comes through, the thing you guys are looking for. It starts to come through clean personality, or as clean as you can make it. getting to this point takes a lot of work to clean out the ego, because it's very attached to staying in charge. This is actually how you manifest your mission. And this will come through. Think of yourself as like one of those computer projectors, those you who go to meetings all the time. Someone plugs your laptop into one of these things, and all of a sudden, all the PowerPoint comes through. This is your universal PowerPoint comes through, but it comes out of the projector, and basically it comes into the third dimensional matrix, and the matrix rearranges around that. So you basically got to get out of your own way at an ego level and allow this, what I call the visionary template, to come through you. And the matrix is just a three-dimensional projection screen. It'll manifest around what your higher self's projecting through you. So you don't have to do all of the hard work yourself. You don't have to figure it out. You've just got to clean up your ego and get out of the way, and to trust what opens your heart the most. The little signs from spirit of where you're to go next. And if you trust that, then that's how you escape. Because the plan, most of you may talk very linearly, to think with the left brain. That won't get you so far. So the structure and rules you're used to for solving problems is not going to work here in the same way. It is going to be useful to some degree, but the key is to let go and allow this flow of spirit to come through, and to follow little nudges of what to do next. Okay, and so there's a plan which will unfold step by step. Okay, there is no 5-year plan where you can plan it all out. Those of you used to having long-term plans, it doesn't work like this. You work with what's coming up for you in the moment. And if you start to follow that, you notice it starts to work if you follow what opens your heart the most. Because at a higher level, the plan has already been written. Not little old you down here trying to figure it all out. It's been designed. You designed it at a high level. Okay, and it's coming through you like this. And there's very specific timing as you raise the frequency of your body by clearing the low frequency ego programs. More layers of the plan will come through you, will unfold. So it's about surrendering to that, one step at a time. Okay, and the actual content of your mission or your gift of service is not going to be revealed in one go. You're going to have one step at a time. As you can handle it, will come to you. So the main thing is to start the journey. Start to surrender what the left brain, the ego, is trying to do, and follow spirit. So that's the broad principle of how to get there. So any questions on that? Laura.
Yeah, more than a question, perhaps a comment. You hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
This is very, very revealing, because I think the society we live in pushes us to have goals all the time. And I found that very hard to cope with. Like you got to work on your big goals, and you have to chunk them, and you work backwards from your goals, and all of these techniques. And my prompts always have been quite intuitive, naturally. And I'm 54 now. I can't say that I have done badly in my life, so it has worked in that way. Yeah. However, lately I've been feeling this pressure that to be more effective with your time and things like that, not get distracted, not get confused, make more quicker decisions. You work out your bigger goals and you chunk them. This is great. This is it's great. It's great to hear this.
Yeah, well, it's very, the whole thing is built around maximizing return on investment. That's what it's all about. So we want our people, corporate wants people to be as efficient as possible, to make as much money. It doesn't care, the corporate matrix doesn't care the price you pay for that. Okay, so the new earth, which is what we're building, because you're seeing the collapse of the entire system. I mean, the whole banking system is collapsing, the whole control matrix is collapsing, is going to be built upon following the flow of the heart. Because God has a plan. It's coming through all of us to rebuild a completely different world based on love and connection, and following the flow of what our natural gifts are. That's where we're heading. And you guys are the ones who are going to build this new world, because you can literally see it coming apart. That's what's going on. And the government is not going to fix it. They are the issue. Big corporate's not going to fix it. They are the issue. So that's all dying because the frequency shift is so great. And so you guys are the vanguard who are here to follow the flow, and then the gifts which will help build a completely different world, a much more loving world and supportive world of everybody. That's why we're here. That's why we were born. So I'm not saying don't have long-term goals, but it's more about what is the feeling inside of you. It's following that feeling. It's not something the mind's made up, and that an MBA has made up because of all the high-level process-based. When I was at a very high level in the corporate world, process-based training, but actually it misses the point. There's no love, there's no connection, and it's servicing the god of money. Money was only introduced on earth to create the separation between us. Some civilizations don't have money at all. So the goal ultimately is to, how can I serve above all things, raising your consciousness on earth with my gift? How can I maximize return on, they're called B corporations, return on stakeholder investment? How can I maximize return for my entire community? My company or my business, my customers, my suppliers, my staff. So everything's looked at in a holistic nature, because ultimately we're all one. We're actually one great soul playing this whole thing out in this universe. But on Earth, it's regarded everything's separate. We're competing with each other. We've got to kill each other off either financially or physically. We're fighting ourselves. So it's about building unity within that and serving the whole in terms of growth for everybody, growth and satisfaction. That's what we're here to build. A complete antithesis of what you've seen in the world in your lives. That's where we're headed. Okay, so hard to believe it's going to happen, but it is. That's where we're going. So think about, feel into what your big vision is. What's coming from your soul? What would really make your heart sing? It's not a financial goal necessarily. It's what each of us has a big vision which we want to manifest in the world to make it a better place at some level. That's why you're here. And focusing on, it's important to focus on as much of that vision as you've been given. I mean, my vision is to wake up about 10 million people in the next decade to who they truly are and get on with their missions. That's what I'm doing. And we're probably going to do it as well with the people I've got working with me, and to raise the consciousness of many of you guys as possible so you can deliver your gifts. So I'm here to help you manifest your mission. That's my core mission here. It's a lot of work for everybody involved, but it's better than just making money. I mean, that's just destroyed the earth completely. Here we have Joseph here, who is looking after the big cats around the world. So he's a prime example of someone who's seriously on the mission. How are you doing, Joe? How are things going since we last spoke?
Really good, Nicolas, actually. Yeah, all thanks to the soul contract reading that we had. As I said to you in an email just a few hours ago, I've just got back from my second trip to the Celebration of Being, Noble Man 2. Yep. I declared my mission to connect with Gaia and to help people find their connection to Mother Earth and nature during that weekend. And yeah, just trying very hard to manifest all the things that we talked about, and definitely making progress thanks to your help. Yeah, good. I love your background. Yeah. So all is not lost in this chaos, guys. We're at the most amazing time in human history. This has not happened for 500,000 years. This has never happened on Earth, where we can completely rebuild this civilization. It's been a slave culture for 500,000 years down here on Earth. And we're here to break out of that into something completely different. And we do it through consciousness, by raising our consciousness, and then raising the consciousness of those around us, just from our beingness, being in a state of high consciousness. So it's not about fighting things. It's about focusing in your heart on where your soul's directing you as best you can. It could just be, this week I'm just going to look after myself. I'm going to love myself, not work so hard, or whatever. Probably is applicable to you, Laura, given what you told me the other day. Okay. And then next week it could be something else. I'm going to look after someone else, however that is. So
what we're going to do now is that I want you to focus on the vision you have for moving forward as best you can, okay, with what you've got, all right? Because it's been revealed to you to a certain degree, all right? If you're not clear what it is, say for you, Tisa, focus on getting clarity. Okay, so you focus on the next best thing, all right, that you want. It could just be on a serve at some level, all right? So I'd just like to hear from you guys what that next step is for you now. And then we're going to focus on it, and then we're going to do some divine healing, which is using the higher self to clear in this case, to clear any barriers to you manifesting that next step and getting aligned, okay, to your true purpose. And it's one next step to escaping from the matrix. It comes one step at a time. And when you think about the matrix, it took Neo a while to wake up when he realized what was going on. It took a while for him to get clear what he was here to do, and his job was to bust the matrix. So you may not be as ambitious as that, but you'll do that in your own way. Okay, if enough of us do that, that's what happens, and that's why things are changing so much in the world. So, anyone want to share what they know about their vision now? So we will put it out there and set that intention, because then I'm going to have you focus on it, and we're going to focus on where you want to go. And what that will do is that will trigger in the ego any unconscious programming preventing you getting there. Okay, because most of the programming that stops us we're not aware of. So basically we have to flush it out and then clean it up. And then you'll find it's a bit easier to move forward. Then you focus on the next thing you're here to do. Yep. Anyone want to share that? Lisa.
Hi. Yeah, definitely. You saying about more clarity, obviously, I definitely need that. Not because I don't know which direction to go, but in all fairness, I think before I even go down the route of what that's going to be, a lot of what I've had over the last few months, I've just been really sort of drained of energy. So I feel like the step for me is to rebuild on myself and go into myself. So I need to do more meditation, more relaxation, because I'm constantly on the go. And I think it's got to the point which is too much. And I'm even more confused because I'm not giving myself that time to just slow down. So I think that's probably what's best for me now is when I can just give myself that more time. And I'm hoping that by doing that and trusting my intuition with that, it will then give me a little bit more clarity as to what the next step would be.
Okay, we'll focus on more space.
Yes.
More quiet time, quiet space, which is a very rare commodity in this world.
Yeah.
So that we're taught to be on the go all the time. Get clarity. Yeah.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else? Anyone else want to share what they feel their next step is? Put it into the pot. Yannicka?
I would like to start a different business where I would be like a remote energy healer for, I'm not sure if it's just for animals or for animals and humans and the world. So I need to get the ball rolling.
Okay, so just focus on that. Anyone else want to share what the next step is for them? Okay, Laura?
Yeah, as we discussed, Nicolas, this week, I am here to build structures, to translate higher truth into plain English. So I need to figure out what the structures are going to be, and what I'm going to focus on next. But one of the things that is quite clear is that I need to get organized to actually manage all the projects and keep the plates spinning.
Yeah, okay, so structure and organization. Focus on that, focus on how that looks and feels in your heart. So what I want you guys to do, anyone else want to share what they feels next for them? Otherwise we'll get to the next phase. Okay, Juliet.
Hi, yes. One of the things that I want to get up and running which I've been talking about a lot and doing a lot of planning and organizing for, is a podcast, and it's called Soulful Saunas, about stories of self-mastery. And you know, when you're in a sauna and you're half naked and you see, I seem to meet lots of random people in these saunas and have really amazing conversations with people that you wouldn't meet in everyday life. And you know, it's getting to those 15 minutes and you're burning up, my face is really hot and I still want to continue the conversation. So, but you have to kind of get out of there. So it's, yeah, really transformational and conscious conversations where people kind of, they're just really engrossed in them, but they also inspire people to change and think differently or act differently and things like that. And you know, sharing my own journey, which a lot of people say, you know, has been quite, there's been challenges and things like that. So yeah, sharing all of that.
Okay, sounds good. Anyone else? Go.
Thanks, Nicholas. Yeah, I've realized recently I need to take a step where I create a project, a wildlife conservation project of my own from my own start position, working with my wife to do that, rather than using all the organizational systems and networks that I've been relying on for the past 10 years. I need to break that pattern and do something in my own right, as it were. So that's a big step for me, but it's very imminent now.
Okay, progress. Well done. Anyone else? No? Okay, so I want you guys to close your eyes. And I want you to sit with your back straight, vertical. And I want you to breathe through your mouth so you stay in your body. And I want you to lean back slightly off the vertical, because that takes you into the feminine rather than the masculine. So we're moving more into the right brain. And breathing through the mouth is important because it keeps you in the body. Your ego will want to breathe through the nose, which will keep you in your head, which we don't want here. Okay? And I want you to breathe the vision of what you guys just shared. It could be clarity, it could be the next project, it could be structure and organization. It could be the vision you have of what you think you want to do next. And create that in your heart as a feeling and a vision, as if it's already done. Don't worry about how you're going to get there, because this is the next step that's been given to you by your higher self. This is what brought you here today. And breathe through your mouth and breathe it and feel that energy in you, in the heart chakra. And feel how it is. Feel emotions come up as if it's already done. With that love from the heart, it's going to help manifest it. And let the universe figure out how all the pieces are going to come together to make that happen. Because remember, you are part of the one great soul. You just forgot. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to clear some of that interference from the lower level of the astral plane that's blocking you from accessing more of your higher self to help create this vision. Some of it's got through because you've all been quite clear what you want next. So we're going to clear what are called earthbound souls, beings who are not in a physical body. We're trying to keep you stuck where you are. I'll be doing this quietly, but just breathe in your mouth and you just be conscious of what comes up. Your body might move around, you might burp, it's okay, you might yawn. So we're going to open that connection up to the higher self. Here we go. These beings are leaving now. They're going up the tunnel of light. They've been taken away because they've been trying to hold you in the stuck position. Feel the shift. We're now going to release extraterrestrial presences. They're very interested in us, extraterrestrial beings, because there's a wide range of emotions on Earth. The very act of observing us changes the what they're observing, and it affects us adversely sometimes, but it's nothing to worry about. I'm going to clear them out now. You'll shift there and feel gratitude for these beings leaving. Feeling gratitude opens the connection to source. It cuts through all the ego constructs. It brings grace. It manifests things much faster. Feel gratitude for them leaving. Now we're going to release the rest of discarnates, entities, and attachments, lower level astral beings that have been holding you back. They're only there so you can break through them. So we're going to clear a bunch of them now, quietly. Feel a shift there. You may be coming out of your body, out of your fields. You might shake and shiver, yawn. It's fine. Just means energy shifting. And staying focused on your heart, how it feels. Getting a little clearer. Focus on that vision as if it's already done. Become aware of any feelings and sensations coming up in your body, whatever they are. There's no right way to do this. It just is whatever's coming up for you. What we're doing is we're bringing consciousness to whatever is in the way from the ego, to you manifesting this next state of you escaping from the matrix. Be sadness, could be unworthiness, could be despair, could be disbelief. This could actually happen to you. Be with whatever it is. However this program operates in your life, because we're basically bringing it into consciousness. The ego doesn't want you to escape from the matrix. Become aware of what or how the ego is reacting to it. Where this comes from. It could be when you were 2, something happened which is preventing you moving forward. Open to all aspects of this feeling. We naturally want to turn away from pain. Our ego doesn't like pain. But I want you to be counterintuitive here and turn into it. Whatever that is, and breathe your consciousness into it. You don't have to figure this out. I want you to feel this out. I invite you to go as deep as you can into the feeling. It could be like, this is never going to happen. It could be some belief sitting in there. But also I want you to do is to feel what's in the way and bring consciousness to it, then it can be cleared. And the more you can open to it, the more it can integrate and heal. We're going to ask Saint Germain, one of the Ascended Masters who's serving on earth, to clean out whatever's come up for you. I want you to feel this as it's happened. So, we ask Saint Germain to pour the purple flame through the aura and subtle bodies. Burn away all low frequency energies that we've all discovered that's preventing us from escaping from the matrix and manifesting our soul destiny, so that new high level vibrations can be accessed. Breathe this in. So basically we're commanding the universe to do something here. Saint Germain and higher self, please burn out in one go. 100% the core issue through all levels and dimensions. 100% the original cause through all levels and dimensions. 100% the source of its power through all levels and dimensions. 100% all energy attached through all levels and dimensions. 100% all of its effects through all levels and dimensions. Thank you. Just feel the shift as those low frequency energies are dissolved, that you basically triggered to come up in your consciousness. Making me want to really yawn. All the stuff's coming out. Now, a lot of what is holding us up in this life comes from our past lives. Unresolved issues, which we're trying to resolve in this lifetime. Our soul creates different personalities in other lifetimes, but anything unresolved is stored in the cellular memory when the physical body dies, and it's put into our personalities, our physical bodies in this life. Well, I reckon about 70–80% of what we deal with comes from our past lives. I want you to focus again and breathe in to that next step in manifesting your escape from the matrix into aligning with your soul destiny. Now, it may feel a little lighter from the last process. We're going to go deeper now. And set the intention that any past lives that are blocking you from manifesting this soul destiny, this next step, they come up into your consciousness, that the past life files open in your field and you become aware of them. You may see visions or may feel things. You may be aware of other beings who are with you in those lives. We're going to clear these past lives so you are freer and can move forward. And if you're clairvoyant, you look behind you, you may see strands of energy going out into the time-space continuum, moving behind you, back in time. You may be aware of multiple past lives. Could be 3 or 4 or 5 key ones which have been holding you back. Breathe into them, turn to them, bring consciousness. It's all about bringing consciousness to them. The soul wants to clear everything, but as long as you've had feeling consciousness to them, then the stuff can leave. Here we go. I'm going to do the command code now for clearing them. Higher self, please clear, heal, and integrate all these files and memories, including all cellular memories, the DNA, and the subatomic levels. This group is now ready to heal all traumatic lifetimes, holding them back and fully manifesting their soul destiny. so they can escape from the matrix at all levels and dimensions, or time frames, realities, and universes. So feel that leave. You might want to move your body around. I command that any soul fragments held with these memories are now returned to this group, fully whole and take as appropriate. This group welcomes these soul fragments back. It's a sensitive part of us that were lost and what we went through in those other lives. I command that the whole holographic matrix be repaired through all layers and levels and brought into full alignment, integration, and balance to allow for wholeness to emerge for each person in this group. Okay. Everyone say thank you. The gratitude is really important here. And embrace the shift. So what we're now going to infuse with divine healing is energetic nutrition, because we've disrupted the ego, so it's a little jangled sometimes. We're going to infuse an integrating frequency, so the shift goes with grace and ease. So I want you to set your intention that the right frequency of energetic nutrition comes into you. And then I'm going to do a command code and ask your higher selves to infuse that. You don't have to know what it is, just set the intention. This higher self has a plan for you to manifest your mission. You just got to surrender to it. Okay. So hold your intention on the optimal frequency coming into you. It'll come down from above into your crown chakra, down your pranic tube, then it will radiate out in all directions into your body and your fields. Here we go. I want you to breathe this in your crown. Higher self, please encode this optimal nutrient in the perfect balance that is required and clear and align all pathways for maximum assimilation, absorption, and utilization. You may feel something propagating, radiating from the core into your whole system. Your vision may get brighter. You'll be a feeling of more integration. You know, oh, that's better. Keep breathing through your mouth. You feel how your vision is now in your heart chakra. Now you've cleared a whole bunch of ego programming. It may seem a little closer, a little more real. You've just increased your frequency, open to high consciousness, to allow more of the high self to come in with that visionary template energy to manifest this. It's all about going one step at a time. And when you're ready, Take a few more breaths and just gently open your eyes, but stay in your heart, feeling that vision. How's that feeling, guys? Just want to hear from a few. What is so this integrates? Is it integrates? Yannicka? Yanniki? I don't see your name here. Yeah. How's that feeling?
Yeah, again, really, really great. And I guess the things that healed was things like clearing out fourth dimensional energies of like control or directing me what to do. And it felt like the words were like, this is my party, I do what I want. And like these are the kind of and go along my divine pathway. And there was a lot of other clearings that came through, like from past judgments around being a healer, like an image of like of potentially who I could have been in the past came up, and also now the judgments around healers and things that also came up from my current experience. So that was healed, and I can't remember what was the end product now, but I think the end product was I didn't need the reassurance to be who I want to be. I was competent as a remote energy healer. So that's what I can recall.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else want to share? Joseph, you had your hand up.
Yeah, thanks, Nicholas. Yeah, I very quickly felt a lot of blocks around worthiness and a recurring idea of having tried this before and it didn't work, so why would it work now? Those kinds of challenges.
Yeah.
But they moved away really quite quickly, and then I just had a very strong sense. I felt very physically very sort of cold and somewhat chilled, which was unusual. I haven't had that before, and very centered, which was good. And then just it felt very much as though I was in the project, so I could feel as though it had occurred. Very strange, difficult to describe in words, but definitely a big shift from the first visualization of what it might be like to then feeling as though it actually is in place.
Yep, that's the key. That's the absolute key. Because often we focus on all the things which are in the way, and because we do that, we just get more of it. By the law of attraction, we're going to create it. So it's about shifting our awareness to not what is in the way, but what we want to create. So a lot less energy goes into manifesting barriers. It's a natural human thing to do. Okay. So very good. Okay. So, I mean, our power of manifestation is the biggest secret that's been hidden from us. Okay. Humanity collectively is very strong in what we can manifest. And we're manipulated with a lot of fear in the world, as you might have noticed, to keep our frequency down. But if we all focused on where we wanted to go, collectively and individually, the world will be a different place. Okay, anyone else want to share how that was? Lisa or Laura, or anyone else? Oh yeah, we've got Gigi. Okay, Gigi, you're there.
Yes. So for me, I was thinking about the violet flame before you actually mentioned Saint Germain.
Yeah.
And so the violet flame just came in for me, just naturally.
Yeah.
And I was able to work with that both times, and it really, I felt the release very much so. And I did see myself in the actual manifestation of the project that I was given 12 years ago, in terms of what, what it would look like. And so it felt very comforting. I did see my past lifetimes. I connected with the energy of them, and I felt them going back in almost like a line. There was a thread that was connecting the several of them. And I remember, when I was in this situation, I saw the culmination of this project. I just started crying. I felt immense joy in my heart.
Okay, very good progress. Okay, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gigi.
Hi. Yeah, it's left me really emotional, really, really emotional, to the point where I was crying.
Yeah.
There were times where I felt really relaxed, really peaceful. My feet are freezing. I don't know what that's about.
It's an energy release. You release a huge amount of programming out of you.
Yeah,
Freezing
really
is there's usually trapped energy in the cells that was held in by the program.
right.
It's usually shock and trauma coming out.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm emotional, because when you said trauma, straight away I turned to trauma that I know is holding me back, and it's all to do with confidence.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the major things throughout my whole life that's actually held me back. But I feel good. But like when I said to you earlier about needing clarification, but I know that there's a lot of healing that I need to do on myself first before I can carry on, because I feel like all the goals that I've got are taken away from what really needs to be right now, and I'm never in the present. I'm always thinking ahead. Like I'm always thinking, right, that goal is that, so I've got to do X, Y, Z to get to that goal, and then I've done it, and then I move on, and I forget about just being in the moment. So it just, obviously, so many feelings. Like I was at one point I was rocking, like it was mad, it was crazy, really weird. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, I'm not gonna lie, but it's just this overwhelming emotion I have right now where I just want to cry.
Well, let it out. This is what this is about.
Yeah.
It's all feeling and emotion is welcome in this process, because that is the pathway to manifesting what is next. And yes, it's about having a long-term goal from the heart, okay, that comes from the soul, not from externally. Is one step at a time. So there's a pathway, and you just started to take the first step here, or the next step in this case.
Thank you, I needed that.
Yeah. All right. So you can replay the video later when we've processed it, and you'll take out another layer and another layer. Okay? Because the divine healing transmission is maintained in the video itself. Okay, so you can keep working on yourself.
Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's not just a recording; it's the transmission. So, anyone else? Lara, do you want to share how that was?
Yes, interesting. Since a while already, I had when I go into this kind of states, my body shakes. So that happened this time as well. And in terms of the past lives, it came as, I could visualize this holding me back, really like harnesses on the three sides of my body, the back and the two sides. And some of them they connected directly to pains I have in my body. So the neck stiffness that is always there, and hard of hearing on the left, which is related to a kind of condition, and that I could see that kind of really, coming out, like being connected.
Yeah.
So I guess yeah, the message is that these things are manifested in my body.
Yeah. Everything that's you need to become conscious of shows itself when you focus on where you want to go. And so what we're actually doing is this here, is that we it was a divine healing manual I was using there. We'll bring this up. What we're actually doing is this. Is that what I had you do is to bring feeling consciousness to whatever was coming up in you. So this is the issue in red that was coming up. And we bought, I won't use green, yeah. Just get a color, it's going to work. You had the willingness, courage, and desire to focus on what was triggered by the ego and stop you. And so we need to bring consciousness to this big red dot, whatever low frequency program it is, and then expand. That's why you breathe into that. Because what you feel, you can heal. Yeah. And if you could bring 100% consciousness to that, that will just dissolve. Because all soul wants to do is feel what it was like to have that separation program stopping you moving forward, and it transmutes it. And then I did the divine healing command code because I'd align you guys to the higher self before we started. And you notice that layer's gone and you feel freer. And so divine healing sort of like structured prayer. We're actually asking higher self to clean up everything in the way of what we desire at a soul level. But the ego will produce this turquoise ice, this numbing out energy to stop you feeling the issue. It's a defense mechanism, because what you can't feel, you can't heal. And in the West, we've been taught to control our emotions with our prefrontal cortex. We sort of say, people often say, I think I feel this, which means this prefrontal cortex is cut in. So what we're gently doing with love in this process is that we're breaking through that barrier. We're doing this. We bring feeling consciousness, and we're actually gently, with the assistance of the higher self, we're gracefully breaking through blockages. So we feel lighter and lighter. And so what you're doing then is that you're gradually making a shift from following the path of the ego, following the path of spirit. And that's how you escape. One step at a time. There's always a way, even though to the conscious mind doesn't appear to be a way. If you just be open and be still to really receive from the universe what's next. Staying focused on your next step in your manifestation of your mission here. And you're basically breaking through these blockages here, which steal your life force. So what happened for you, Tisa, is you hit one of these, and then you dissolved it, and the life force got freed up. So all the frozen energy in that red dot got released. That's why your feet were freezing. That was a layer of trauma in there. You might also get heat as well. You might get heat and freezing cold at the same time. So heat is the released life force, this stuff going on, and the cold is the trauma, the blockage in the cells coming out. Okay, so that's what we're actually doing. And the more life force you can free up, and the more clarity you have, that life force is available then to manifest the mission. Okay, and their frequency rises, so more of the higher consciousness can come through you and out into the world to manifest the mission. So the most important thing you can do is to work on yourself with the inner journey. Is equally important as the outer journey for us as light workers to manifest our gift of service, because we can only go as far as we cleared ourselves internally. Because if you say, for example, feel unconsciously unworthy to manifest this mission, it's never going to happen, no matter what you do in the outer world. So you still have to do the outer world stuff, make it work, but the internal world is a mirror for it. Well, the outer world is a mirror for the internal journey that you're going on. So you can think of the manifestation of this mission, this gift of service, as like a workshop, your external holographic matrix. That's you and the outer world you perceive subjectively. That's showing you what you need to work on inside you. That's why these tools are very important. So we cannot force a soul mission to happen, not through brute force. We just got to get out of the way and allow it to flow through us by being clear enough emotionally, have our frequency high enough, then it will turn up. If you were completely clear, your mission will turn up instantaneously, because there's nothing in the way of the one great spirit here. Yeah. Bringing to you whatever is in divine order for you to come. Okay. So if you decide, say, Joseph, you got 20 animal sanctuaries around the world. Okay. If that was the mission to have, if you were completely clear, they would manifest pretty much immediately, because you are completely plugged into all that is, which is why opening this connection to this, to source, is the key to everything. It's the key to everything. Because when you're running at the higher frequency, all the elements of the matrix around you will come to you, because your higher consciousness will bring to you or attract to you everything you need. Okay, that's what Christ was talking about. You can do you'll be able to do what I do if it's clear. That's what he was basically saying. Okay, because he spent 12 years in the desert, traveling around the world, clearing his ego to open this channel up. That's what he was actually doing. Okay, so any questions on that? So sort of the broad principles of how to manifest your mission and the tools that are available to do that. No questions? Oh no, there's someone's got a message down here. I'm just going to read this in the chat. Okay. EG, you've got contraction and I got some grief here. Grief comes up a lot. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. Gigi's grateful for receiving it. Okay. Laura?
I have a question. You mentioned about learning the method so that we could use it. How do we do that?
I'll explain that. Yeah.
Okay.
So back to it. How does it work? All right. Okay. So basically, it's a multidimensional system that comes from source, divine healing, to help us get back to source. And it's based on the simple principle of asking, you shall receive. So I aligned you to the higher self. You set your intention of what you wanted to manifest in this case, to figure what was going to come up. And then I used, we have a manual here. I used some charts from this manual. This is the level 1 manual. This was channeled to Amira Ario Hale, used to run the Center for Conscious Ascension with me, plus with some friends of her, Shakira and Mary. Yeah. And so this is a level 1 manual, which is designed to empower you to manifest whatever you want, create whatever you want. And there are 26 charts that were channeled by these three in 2005, 2006. There's all these different charts that were channeled from different beings at many different dimensional levels. And we used the interference chart. I use that to clear the interferences, okay, that are blocking your connection to higher consciousness. And then I had you feel whatever was coming up in you. And I did this command code on page 55 here. Just got to, it's not showing up yet. Yeah. This page here. These are low frequency programs, which I had you feel. And we did this command code down here. So the command code we use for Saint Germain to clean out whatever you were feeling. So this is us bringing healing consciousness to that blue dot in over here. Hang on, where is it? Here it is. That's a command code we did to clean up whatever you were feeling. Okay. And then what we did was that we went to the past life chart. Down here. It's actually a past life death chart, but I adjusted it. I use this command code here to clean up all those past lives you brought consciousness to. So basically, it's about bringing consciousness to whatever's there on each chart, on the particular theme that's running, and cleaning it out. And then to finish off, we did this nutrition chart. Yeah. Okay, there were minerals, vitamins, and amino acids and essential fatty acids. And I did this frequency infusion command code here. So that's why the idea was that to reintegrate you, because you can feel a little disintegrated from this, because it's quite strong. That was just to give you a taste of some of the charts in divine healing. And what we do, Lara, is that we teach this over 4 days so that you learn how to do this yourself. So we spend 4 days as a group going through all these charts in a very specific order, depending on the group intention, where I explain each chart. If it's a simple chart, I just demonstrate it on everybody. If it's a more complex one, someone becomes the guinea pig and we work on their issue. And then you guys go off into breakout rooms and Zoom, as pairs, and you give and receive that chart to each other. And we come in and supervise, me and assistants come in and make sure you're doing okay. So basically you spend 4 days learning 26 charts and you have a massive healing in the process. But you leave with a tool that you can use on yourself and others. So once you've got the tool, you can clear about 80% of your issues yourself. So if you're feeling like you've got a lot of issues coming up, you can just pick up the manual, spend 10 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours, however much time you've got or need, and clear the issue, and you get on with life. So what it does is it accelerates your emotional clearing process of cleaning out the ego, and therefore that'll accelerate the process of manifesting, escaping from the matrix and manifesting that gift of service you're here to do. So that's basically what we do over 4 days. And there's one more slide to show you how this process works. Is it gone? So basically what it does is that divine healing, provided you work at it, makes your life really happen. And you become conscious of all the underlying programming, just like you did just now, all the hidden stuff that you're not normally aware of, that's creating your life the way it is. And it can take your dreams and visions and turn them into reality by clearing out of the stuff. It's a very deep healing process. And it can be so powerful that at times you will not even remember what you just cleared, because it cleans it out of the ego, really it's like a laser scalpel. So then you can connect to the soul essence and have a much more enjoyable life and create more flow, and you become the master of your life. Basically, you become in charge because you have a tool now that's able to gracefully burn through the ego. Okay. So very powerful. It was bought so we could ascend, bought through so we could ascend back to source and consciousness. So if you're interested in learning it, so you can escape from the matrix, we teach it on Zoom. It's a global training, and the next one is the 16th to the 19th of June. So we run at 12:30 to 8:30 UK time, so that we can reach from California at 4:30 in the morning. People used to fly from California. They don't have to now. and we finish at 9:30 out in Eastern Europe, and sometimes this goes out to India and Asia as well. Okay, so if you want to find out more, just go to the link, thedivinehealingtraining.com. The deposit is £193 or $225 approximately, and the full fee is £571 or $660 approximately. But the cost of the training is only about 5.5 hours of session time if you were to go to a practitioner. So it's much more cost effective to actually, if you're serious about trying to escape from the matrix and manifest your mission, it's much more cost effective to learn it yourself, because you can clear most things yourself, and you have an experienced practitioner for the other 20% of things like core ego constructs, which we can't get to because it's the fundamental foundation of our identity. But you can get about 70-80% of things out of you with this. When I first started doing this, if I had a blockage in bookings coming, our Mary used to say to me, just do divine healing until the phone rings, and it would. So that was a real incentive to me, because if I didn't clear it, then we wouldn't have food on the table. So it helped me get on with the mission. So I did a lot of divine healing back in 2006, 2008 when I started learning how to use this. Does that give you enough structure there, Lara, on how it works?
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was in person. Okay, it's on Zoom. Yeah.
Well, it used to be in person here in Walton-on-Thames, but because it's global, you have people from North America, all over Europe, India, Southeast Asia. They'll be from everywhere. So I gave up on the idea of doing it in person. So it's also on Zoom now for that reason. But also, obviously, it was very useful during COVID because you couldn't meet up anyway. So yeah, so no, there's no in-person option anymore for that reason. But you get to meet a lot of neat, interesting people who are on the same wavelength, who really want to grow and make a difference here. So yeah, it's probably a bit different to your in-person teaching that you're used to. So everything we used to do was in person, but it changed about 7 or 8 years ago because the business went from just Europe to basically to global. So it was the only way to reach everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, that's something I'd like to consider.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments on that experience or the training?
I do have a question.
Yeah, who's that? Is that Gigi?
It's Gigi, yes.
Yeah.
So I heard you say 78 to 80% clear, healing, clearing. I was just wondering, what is the 20% that is needed to get higher than 80%?
The other 20% is where you need someone else to hold emotional space for you, Gigi, where you, so that you can completely drop into some core ego programs. There's some things you can't get to yourself, and that's where an experienced divine healing practitioner would help you. Okay.
Yes.
It's not possible to hold space and go into your deepest, darkest programs. It doesn't work that way. But you can still, we reckon, clear about 70-80% by yourself.
Perfect.
Which is very empowering, because then you can do it when you want to do it. You have to go and wait a couple of days or weeks for a session. And obviously it's much more cost effective when you can do it on yourself. So, yes. But it also provides you with a tool where you can work on others to earn a living, for those of you who want to escape from the matrix. So you're doing it when you want to do it. And there aren't enough divine healers in the world. So does that help?
Yes, I do like that idea, being able to do it not only on yourself, but also on others. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, once people find out how effective it is, they come back for more. So it's a good way to create another stream of income. Support yourself where you're in charge. Okay. Any other questions or comments in general on the process or the training? No? Everyone's okay? All right. Well, thanks people for coming. And the video will be just as powerful when you get the link. It'll probably be next week. it'll be just as powerful as you had it here. So you want to be in a sort of a clear space. You don't want to be driving a car or anything like that, or have kids around, because it's very strong, this. Okay, it'll take you deeper each time you use it. Okay, I discovered people were using it for healing and saying to me, this is the most powerful healing I've ever had, just by watching the video. So it is strong, just so you know. Okay, well, thanks for coming, and stay focused on the next step and watch what happens if you work on this. Magic happens. Okay, even though you can say, well, this is not going to work, but you've just had an experience of being clearer. So it's one layer at a time. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks,
Take
Nicolas.
care. Bye.
Thank you.
All the best.